Hey, it's Jess again. This is how to discuss politics without wanting to kill someone. This is the part where I get to tell you the tips and tricks to make the conversation a little easier and what pitfalls to avoid. Coming in with assumptions about other people. Assumptions and presumptions about other people are often unfounded and usually hurt understanding and cooperation, which is more or less the entire point of this method. Please do not hold assumptions when you enter the discussion. Drop these at the door. The big please for the love of everything is be open. Recognize that no one knows everything. There's a decent chance that your audience may have information that you lack and vice versa. You're different people with different experiences. Come into the conversation wanting to learn about your audience and how they came to their conclusions. There may be different reasons to come to the same conclusion, or the same conclusion can lead you in entirely different directions. Like in the gun debate. Both sides cite public safety as why they do or don't support having armed individuals on campus. It's important to recognize that there's a reason for different perspectives, and that reason is neither good nor bad. Just come in willing to learn how those differences affect your perspectives and see where it takes you. Dear God, do not come in with my way is the only way. This is where you think you are the only person who knows what they're talking about. I'm going to use some poor communication tactics to address you right now, and it is very direct, and you may want to punch me in the face afterwards for saying this cliché. You are not always right. You are human. Humans make mistakes. Ergo, you make mistakes. You are not infallible beyond belief. You need to keep this in mind because we tend to be set in our ways and forget that there are a lot of ways to do the same thing. It may be weird, but if it works, it works. Hey, try to do this. Listen and work with others. Maybe one of you points out an issue the other didn't see when you mentioned a solution to the issue. For example, if you're talking about maybe one of you points out an issue the other didn't see, or maybe you mentioned a solution to that issue. This is why we need to explain back and forth with what's going on. For example, if you're talking about driving laws and fines, what do you do if someone without a license has to drive someone, like maybe a sick kid, to the hospital, or else the kid dies? Do you punish someone for saving someone's life? Do you? This may be a case where you put an exception. If adhering to these limits results in being unable to save someone's life or helps them survive, then the law is not applicable in these situations. For the sake of all of our sanity, do not assume they understood each point perfectly. When people do this, there's a lot of things happening, ranging from bulldozing over questions and concerns, to not giving time for these, and getting angry when someone says something you don't like. Please do explain and ask questions. You need to explain your points as you go and give them room to ask questions. I like to use the "I'm not sure about your experience with any of this, so I will pause a lot and ask questions where you are" method. Never ever do this. Go in expecting to completely change your audience to your exact perspective. It isn't going to happen. People come to their stances through their reasoning, and you're not going to undo that in one conversation or two. Remember, you are opening a dialogue and people will come to their own conclusions. At most, you can hope to show them how your stance might fit into their worldview, but they have no obligation to adopt how you see an issue. Please feel free, and always do, come to these discussions in good faith. This means trusting that the people you're talking to are not out to get you or are evil incarnate. Walk into these conversations believing that everyone in the room is doing what they think is best and know that you may have different ideas of what best means. That is normal and to be expected. By coming in good faith, your assumptions will spill over into your words and actions, making it easier to try to understand and cooperate with people than if you came in expecting evil incarnate to be your teammate. For all that is good, never attack the other side. This includes asking loaded questions or statements. These usually fall along the lines of, it's either guns or lives, and you choose guns, or, which is more important, a weapon or lives. Call people by what they want to be called. If someone says they're a feminist, call them a feminist, not a man-hater if you want to work with them. This is a US-centric one, but for the sake of keeping a conversation functional, never claim the other side is unpatriotic. This only puts people on the defensive, and defensiveness can and will ruin a conversation. Always, always show respect. I mean respect in the same way I'll call you by what you want to go by. The same kind of respect we use to hold the door open for someone. To not do the equivalent of walking into a Jewish home with a swastika. In your respect, be sure to avoid harm. This means being considerate of whoever you're talking to with their feelings, rights, traditions, hopes, and dreams. But it also means taking into account where they are knowledge-wise, and meeting them at their level if you can. If you can't, ask them to come down to your level by asking questions along the way, admit if you're having trouble keeping up, and check in often that you are understanding what they are saying by saying what you think they meant, and check if you got it right. In the discussion you're having, it's people trying to understand each other's perspectives and figure out the issue you're talking about with the knowledge, thoughts, and experiences of everyone in the conversation, and figuring out what to do to solve the problems the issues bring up. To recap, make no assumptions. Drop anything about who you're talking to, believing your way is the right way, and that the person you're talking to will know exactly what you're talking about the entire time. Be open-minded going in and listen to what the other person is saying. Maybe you missed something or made the wrong assumption. Work with who you're talking to and you will come out better for it, especially if your end goal is policy. 3. Always explain your points and reasons and give who you're talking with space to ask questions as you go. This is an exchange of ideas, not a competition. 4. Come into the discussion with good faith. You're all trying to help the best way you know how. 5. Leave your idea that you will completely change their mind at the door. 6. Don't attack them no matter how frustrated or angry you may get. It sends them on the defensive. Avoid insults, loaded questions, and statements like lives or guns. These don't help anyone, they only divide. 7. Be respectful by avoiding harming them. This means being considerate to how they see themselves and meeting them there. Meet their feelings, concerns, and speak at their level. Hopefully these helped in future political discussions if you try these out. Feel free to check out the rest of the series, How to Talk About Politics Without Wanting to Kill Someone. Bye!